This is Eagles Outlook, where we talk politics and current affairs. My name is Uduak Daniel, and quite a number of discourse, right, that's been on the one that seemingly bothers us directly. Now, I wouldn't say that the issue that has to do with the Canadian government or the embassy now denying the that had to do with honoring war veterans is something that we couldn't talk about. I mean, we all have seen that it is only a call or wake-up call and peace with that would be our neighboring African, the likes of Chad, Niger. Hence, this is what is informing the discourse this morning as we are looking into the Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to increase ATM withdrawal charges. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has announced an increase in ATM withdrawal charges. And this is supposed to be effective from March 1st of 2025. Now, this move is aimed at addressing rising operational costs and enhance efficiency in the banking sector. Now, the last review of ATM transaction charges occurred in 2019. Right? When the CBN reduced the withdrawal fees from 65 naira to 35 naira. But the new policy now is introducing a 100 naira fee per 20,000 naira withdrawal at on-site ATMs and a 100 naira fee plus a surcharge of up to 450 naira per 20,000 naira withdrawal at off-site ATMs. Now, additionally, though, banks in Nigeria can no longer limit ATM withdrawals to less than 20,000 naira per transaction. Hence, the CBN has also said that any bank found violating this regulation will face sanctions. They will face punitive measures, right? And that's what the CBN is saying right there. But then, that is the background to the discourse this morning. We will look at the implication of this to the average Nigerian. I wouldn't say the common man. Nobody is common, even though that's what we keep hearing every time when we see our House of Reps members, try to talk about policies that is supposed to be people-oriented. They say we are the common man. We're no common man. We are Nigerians, right? And you can say an average Nigerian. And that's fine, right? We should change the narrative. But then, how is it going to affect you? How is it going to affect businesses? How is it going to affect our pockets, our savings? I mean, we already have a 50 naira levy. That is already there. But how is it going to affect us? I mean, the CBN's decision to increase ATM withdrawal charges, it has sparked concerns among Nigerians. The new rules are expected to enhance cash disbursement through ATMs and minimize public inconvenience. However, though, some stakeholders have raised concerns about the potential impact of the new fees on low income individuals and those who rely heavily on ATMs, right? Now, as we discuss this topic now, it is also very necessary to point it out that we should explore the implication of the CBN's decision, right? And we should also, hear from experts and stakeholders in the banking sector. And one of such would be our own dear Mr. Adefolari Olamilekon. He's a political economist, communication expert, and as well, he is a consultant, a lead researcher, and policy analyst. It's going to be adding his voice, in the discourse this morning. But let's get into a personal story now. I mean, I need you to meet one Emmanuel, who is a student, university student. He says he relies on ATMs for his daily expenses, right? Now, this is what he had to say. Emmanuel says, I am worried about the increased ATM charges. Now, he's coming from the place of a student now. As a student, I'm on a tight budget, and these extra fees will add up quickly, he says. Now, Emmanuel's concerns reflect the potential impact of the policy on low-income individuals and those who rely heavily on ATMs. Right, Mr. Adefolari Olamilekon, welcome to the discourse this morning.
Right, thanks for having me. Very good morning to you and to all our listeners out there.
Right. What would be your thoughts line with regards to discourse this morning where the CBN has indeed said that, well, as it stands, rising operational cost and enhancing efficiency in the banking sector, there is a need to, as from March 1 of 2025, to increase ATM withdrawal charges. What would be the effects, what is the reason behind it? First of all, what would be the effect on the average Nigerian? How would it affect us and businesses? And is this a monetary policy that is in the right direction? Is it in the betterment of the people of Nigeria?
I think to start with is to first remind Nigerians that this policy is not new. It was there at least 5 months ago, but the CBN on its own suspended this particular policy. And it was also there some close to 6-7 years ago. If many of us could remember during the Lamido Sanusi appear as the head of CBN, there was a time that this particular 100 naira charges on withdrawal was brought down. Was brought down. Then, at the time that Emefiele also became the CBN governor, there was also a review on the price of charges of withdrawal from ATM. But unfortunately, many of us have forgotten that this 100 naira charges was even implemented on as high as any withdrawal that we are making some few years ago, but it was drastically reviewed downward. So what the CBN did was that in this period that we are in right now, 4 months ago, they also stopped that charges on the same amount that it was right now. And right now, they are not bringing it back. And the reason why they are bringing it back is not far-fetched from what the banks have been complaining that they also have been impacted and have been burdened by the current reality of economic situation of financial institutions in Nigeria. But they also complain that we are not able to meet up with the challenges of maintaining their pure ATM machines. And that's why they did not put money in those ATM machines. And that's why the CBN have to listen to them and have a review of bringing back this policy. They suspended 4 months ago. And it is not new. I'll quickly say it is not new. It has been there for some few years. Just that it was reviewed down. If you remember, there was a time we were paying 70 naira, 80 naira per withdrawal on ATM. But it was now brought down to 36 naira. But that 36 naira now is now being reviewed for 20,000 naira withdrawal. For 20,000 naira withdrawal, it is now taken to 100 naira. But for all that are less than 20,000, you can still be paying 35 naira, 40 naira, depending on the bank that you are going from. And this applies to banks outside your bank. That is for a GT bank, 100 naira, and other sub-charges that has been applied according to CBN.
But why does it, are indeed expected to co-opt or to align with the talks about, we have increased the minimum wage and all of that? I mean, with the current reality, it does seem as though the minimum wage increment is in guise not a blessing, and is what is also given some of these institutions the effrontery to want to talk about how they too have been experiencing shortfalls in one way or the other. But then a deep scrutiny from family members who have also called in has shown that even the 70,000 naira minimum wage that has been promised, even right here in Abuja, not everyone is seeing 70. Some are seeing 60, some are seeing 30, some are seeing 40. And how do we reconcile all of these? Because you already made mention of the fact that these banks, they make profits. So what is the talk about managing ATMs in the country that should give rise to this kind of policy?
I think starting from the what you call minimum wage issue that you raised also in your question, it's quite it's quite interesting that the minimum wage issue need not to be misunderstood. It started with the government, and it is expected that private sector also need to apply. And the minimum wage issue has a law that guides it in terms of so I see the number of people that will be receiving minimum wage that are being employed. Talking about the number of people that an organization can start paying minimum wage. Once the employment number is above 7 or thereabout, you have to be paying minimum wage to your staff. But it becomes so difficult because of the current economic reality. This cannot be met by most Nigerians, either at the government side or at the private public enterprise side, and then the private entity side, because every part and every link of the economy business is facing a lot of challenges in Nigeria. That's been said. But on the other hand, we also need to understand the economy is challenged, not necessarily because the business private business centers are not doing very well, but because the reality of the current policy of the government has affected business worldwide, national-wide. Then also international issues around economy around the world, also affecting businesses in Nigeria also. So these are things that we need to understand. Then on the side of the banks are shareholders who have invested in those banks. So once and when they make such profit, that profit doesn't go to one man. It goes to the people who own the bank, shareholders and the rest of them. And we also need to understand that banks will spend so much money in the securitization of all their vaults and the rest of them, the internet and the rest of them. So it's also going to correspond with that. So the ATM issue is that, according to what the CBN have now mandated the banks, is that they must ensure that they put money in those ATMs. And for them to put money in those ATMs, they need to maintain it. And that lack of not having enough funds to maintain the ATM is what has given rise to whereby ATM doesn't have money. But with this, with this understanding that CBN and the bankers committee have had, by increasing the money of charging on ATM to 100 naira per every 20,000, if you withdraw outside your own bank, I think it's a good way for the bank to now reciprocate and begin to put money in their ATM. And that will give enough opportunity for people to withdraw their money. But we now talk about what will be the impact on Nigerians. I think it's going to be another different ball game altogether. Either at an individual level, at group level, even businesses also be impacted by this particular policy of the CBN.
Right. Now, what do you think would be the could be the aftermath or the response, from the average Nigerians in this category of Nigerians that we've mentioned? Do you think that there's going to be a positivity in terms of Nigerians' attitude in the banking sector, in keeping their monies in the banking sector and all of that? What do you think could be the ripple effect in that regard?
Now, what I see coming forward is that the cashless policy of the CBN is standing. What it means is that a lot of Nigerians may resort to cashless policy, whereby instead of giving you cash, I will not be transferring to you. Another thing is that most people will not begin to open accounts. If you have a business partner that operates with a first bank, and it means that you can also quickly go and open a first bank account, so that those of you to be going to withdraw your money from another bank and be paying so much, now it's not time for you to not be using the same bank. I see that coming up as an innovative way among Nigerians. Then secondly, the fintech are already available. That means the POS are also there for us to go and withdraw our money. So these are the channels that will be open for Nigerians. But what I see that will happen most is that most of us will end up embracing the cashless policy by doing more transfer than using cash. And if you go to supermarket or go to the informal sector of the economy, whereby market, trade, local market, you can also have it. Nigerians will also begin to deal with the people that are telling that, okay, let's say, for instance, I buy something of 8,000 naira and I need cash for myself. I could say, okay, let me transfer 10,000 naira to you. Remove your 8,000 and give me my 2,000. So that will allow people to have small cash with themselves. So there will be innovative ideas coming from this particular policy that Nigerians will adopt themselves to, so that at the end of the day, nobody will be losing because ATM is charging you 100 naira for every 20,000 naira. You're going to be withdrawing from not your bank. But if you are going to be withdrawing from your bank, these charges will not be applied. You should have that understanding that if I'm at a bank, GT Bank now, and I'm going there to withdraw my 20,000, they are not charging me 100 naira. But if I'm leaving GT to go to First Bank or Zenith Bank to go and withdraw that same amount, they will charge me that 100 naira.
All right. Well, we'll open the phone lines now. Let the family members join in the conversation. You want to add your voice already. And is there any gray area that you see that we don't see at the moment? You might as well want to put that call through via this number very strictly, 0907 353 0044. That is 0907 353 0044. And the WhatsApp portal number, where you can also send just your WhatsApp message to, would be 0909 705 4450. All right, we'll go take this call already. Hello, good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Is this Coco?
Yes, Coco. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
From Lugbe, sir.
Awesome, Coco.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Coco.
Yeah, good morning to the guests.
Yeah.
Please, sir, I want to say that these charges is on the high side. In a sense that, okay, now, if for instance, I'm banking with First Bank, and I went to Zenith Bank to withdraw 20,000, and the Zenith is charging me 100,000. My bank itself, First Bank, is charging me 35 naira. So now, with 100 naira, 20,000 naira, I will be charging 135 naira. You get? Now times maybe 100,000. I'm to withdraw 100,000. They will now times pay each 20 naira, each 20,000, which is 20,000 times 500,000. You will realize that I'm going to spend 675 naira per 100,000 that I withdraw from another bank. If you multiply that, maybe 100 people in a day, 100 customers in a day. So the charge is too much. So I think the First Bank, the central bank should look.
Hello, Coco.
Sir.
You said that you think the central bank should do what?
Should look into the charges and reduce it. It's too much.
Review it. Okay, I get that.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Coco, for that. Right, you can also keep your calls coming through, though. 0907 353 0044. What would be the implication of this for you as a businessman, right? And what do you think generally? I mean, quite a number of persons are beginning to say that, look, it seems as though 2025 is a year of taxation. And keeping in mind that just yesterday, as at yesterday now or so, we saw that the tax reform bills has gone through second reading. Yeah, even though it still has mixed, feelings right there. But at least now it does seem as though there is some levels of agreement in that regard. But then you can as well head on to the WhatsApp portal number and leave your WhatsApp message right now, 0909 705 4450. Well, Mr. Defalari, just to also put it out there, I don't know, did you get, the discourse from Coco, who just called in now?
Yes, I try to understand what he said, and the quite interesting that he also agreed that the charges is high. For as I earlier stated, this charges was there before, just that the CBN suspended it. Now, we should also understand that these charges that we are talking about, for me, is not a pressure on anybody. It's going to be withdrawing money from with your ATM and your bank. Concentrate on your branch, your branch yourself. So if you go to another bank and withdraw, you pay that penalty of 100 naira. And there is a wisdom in this particular aspect that the children have just brought out. The wisdom is two. One is that together you start engaging yourself in transfer. Engage yourself in transfer all the time, not necessarily having cash or trying to have cash. Even though we understand that economy is a cash-based economy. But there's a new thinking around that for now. Then secondly, it also encourages us that the bank we are banking with, will have less charges when we go there to withdraw our money. And it also encourages, although the only thing I'm trying to emphasize there is that with CBN, we should ensure that those banks keep money in their ATM. When we have issues like what this last caller was trying to point out, why it's expensive, is that in case he can't find money in his bank,
right,
or he cannot find his bank ATM where he anywhere find himself, then he has to resort to a bank, another bank. But if you don't even see any money in any bank and you want to use it for POS, you will spend much more than that. That's the wisdom. But what me I will say is that this particular policy has the positive side and negative side. The negative side is that most of us are complaining. Like you rightly pointed out, if you're doing 100,000 naira, he will spend 600 naira. And let me also tell you, he's only spending 600 naira. His bank will not charge him 35 naira. The bank that is withdrawing from, that's where they will charge him.
Oh.
If you have that understanding, it's not that because you go and banking with GT, you're not going to the president to go and withdraw. Your GT bank will charge you. No, it is the bank that you are withdrawing from that will charge you. You should put that out. So we're going to spend more than 600 naira. 500 naira for 100,000 naira, not 600 naira, as the caller pointed out.
All right. Well, we'll just go on a recess now, Mr. Deflowering. We'll be right back in a short bit and engage, some more in this discourse. All right. This is Eagles 102.3 FM's Eagles Outlook, where we talk politics and current affairs. Don't go away.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
My people, the thing really happened for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the quarters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NATIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Kai, oga, wannan injin naka ya gaji fa.
Amma ka san da kuma ka bari na kashe kuɗi na?
Oga, ba laifi na bane. Na ka san injin nan naka.
Kuma yanzu kake faɗa mun haka?
To ai nayi na gyara injin nan amma injin nan naka yaki.
Jira aka yi.
Kasancewa injin motocinka da na janareto suna buƙatar mai kyau yadda ya kamata ita ce ta hanyar sayan mai inganci. Shi yasa matatar man Dangote ta tace muku man fetur zuwa RON, wato tsaftataccen mai wanda shine ingantaccen man fetur din da zaka iya dogaro ko amincewa da shi a dukkanin injinan ku. Lokaci yayi da za ku kula da injinan ku sai man Dangote mai inganci.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just 20,000 naira? Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. Hurry now.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. Eagles 102.3 Abuja. Sorry for the inconvenience. I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
Do you want to know about cars? Everything about cars, from purchase to maintenance and even road use. Don't go too far. Listen to Top Gear on Eagles 102.3 FM every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Top Gear, let's give you a spin.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Mr. Adefolari Oladipo is a political economist, communication expert, and consultant. We researcher, and right. You want to bring your voice in the discourse this morning as well. You want to tell us, your thoughts about this and how you feel that government would have done, or the CBN would have realigned this policy in such a way that it would have been a win-win. For all. You might as well want to call the number now, 0907-353-0044. Speak to the number, 0907-353-0044. Or better still, get onto the WhatsApp portal number, and that will be 0909-705-4450. Well, let's just take a look at some angles, to the discourse this morning. An economic, a financial, expert, in the person of Dr. Uche Walake, had said that the increased ATM charges will likely lead to higher operating costs for banks, which may be passed on to consumers, right? And we have also seen yet another Mrs. Folake Abiola, who is a consumer rights advocate, saying the CBN should ensure that banks are transparent about their charges and that consumers are protected from unfair practices. Okay, so in terms of alternative payment methods, one Tayo Adigun, who's a fintech expert, has said that the increased ATM, charges may encourage people to adopt alternative payment methods such as mobile banking and online transactions. Even our guest has made mention of this. Now, the increased ATM charges may disproportionately affect low-income individuals and those in rural areas who rely heavily on ATM, says Dr. Olamide Omidele, a social economist. And finally, of course, Mr. Folabi Oladele has saying, who's a regulatory expert now, is saying that the CBN should review its regulatory frameworks to ensure that it promotes fair competition and protects consumer interests, right? And that's what he has to say. Well, we'll take your call now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning to you. Is this Elder Nodger?
Elder Nodger is my name.
Yes.
I'm calling from Kuba.
All right, welcome, Elder. Talk to us, Elder.
I went to ask your guest. This tax, everywhere tax. Since when the program came on, what the common man gained from this tax here, this appearance, go to rural area, the way they are charging. I went to Panama local government around Ogugu side. Last time, we went for marriage and then we went to POS. You don't know, 300,000 and 20,000 and 10 charges. 20,000. 20,000 for 100,000. If you go to rural area, the way they are charging people, coming to bank again, to withdraw your money from bank again, they tax you. I want to know since when this political government, especially this government, come to power, it reach all these tax. What's the benefit of the common man? And what can we ever benefit from this government? If you are there, tell me, because I'm in that. Because every day, tax here, tax there. Increase here, increase there. You can't go to market and buy food stuff because of a removal, especially from petrol. This one bank, this one PS, this one this, and which way out, and then what the benefit to common man are be. Thank you very much, God. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, though, Elder Naja, right there. All right, Mr. Adefolari, you heard him. What's the benefit if taxation is taken, the order of the day, especially in 2025, even as we've seen the budget now, 54.99 trillion naira endorsed, is it with another 700, is it billion naira now added to it? What is the fate of, the average Nigeria in this kind of situation?
All right, thank you very much. I think we need to understand and clarify some of these issues. The issue of the budget is another bottom of discussion on its own. But the issue of the ATM charges and the rest of them is more or less like an open issue that many Nigerians who care to put their money in bank will bear the burden. If you care not to put your money in bank, you won't have to be disturbing yourself going to ATM to withdraw money. And we must also understand that nobody is forcing anybody to go and be putting their money in bank. Our rural areas, majority that government has been pushing that they should join the financial inclusion, How many people in the rural area are even putting money in their bank? They don't put their money in their bank. Not until when these fintech people that are coming around that people that started opening OPay account, money point account, rural area. People don't put money in their account. So the bottom line of this discussion is instead of us to punch ourselves and push ourselves to the point that we are not castigating ourselves in a very wrong way. The issue about the ATM charges is for people who care to put their money in their bank, who care to open accounts, and you should be ready to also pay charges to in case you want that kind of money. And I earlier pointed out that it is not that 100 naira will be charged on your account, on your ATM of your bank. It is another bank that are going to withdraw money that you will charge. So if I bank with First Bank and I want this money and I can't get money in First Bank account or ATM, maybe that should be it. But it is not about because I didn't get money in First Bank account and now go to Access Bank and Access Bank ATM and now want to withdraw money and I started complaining that they are charging me 100 naira. It is your own voluntary action to go and withdraw money from there. Look for another alternative and get your money. And that's why I'm saying that we should not expressly blame CBN for this. The banks have come out to suffer Nigerians. They don't want to put money in the ATM because they say they are spending so much money on the ATM maintenance. And the CBN are reasoning with them that before we have these charges implemented, we took it away. Now let us bring it back. Maybe it will make the bank to now begin to put their money in the ATM and Nigerians can have money for that. But what I'm trying to point out is this. You have a cashless alternative platform. If you know you need cash and you need cash, you go look for the cash. But you know that you can do it, transfer, do it easily. It makes life easy. I don't know whether you understand. So what I'm trying to, the summary of what I'm trying to point out is that we should not see it as if it's a policy that is coming to injure Nigerians, as many Nigerians are thinking. Like the last caller talked about what is the benefit of ordinary Nigerians. Ordinary Nigerians don't have bank accounts. Let us tell ourselves the truth. The people that we consider as ordinary Nigerians are the poorest of the poor. So how would the poor be keeping money in the bank?
Mr.
You don't even have money to go and put in the bank.
You may not be totally correct. I mean, when you say ordinary Nigerians don't have accounts. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
All right. You may not be totally, correct in that regard, because I have also encountered, even those who are deemed the beggars. They now have accounts. So you may not be general about that, because I could also recall that there was a time when the CBN in itself championed a crusade, asking the Nigerians, rather than keep monies in your kolo, rather than keep your monies on the ground, you should take it to the bank for safekeeping. There was a crusade, for that. And it encouraged quite a number of people to also, think about this suggestion and, of course, act, rightly in that regard. And that's why we are having this conversation. Because if you say that the ordinary Nigerian does not have a bank account, it may not be totally true. You know one thing, when we Nigerian, when we say ordinary Nigerians, interpreting that ordinary Nigerians mean the poor or the poor. So, Mr. Adeflari, who is not the poor of the poor in Nigeria now? I mean, that's my question. Because with the way things are going, the people who we thought were the middle class, in fact, I put it to you right now, there is no middle class. There is no middle. Yes. Either you're rich or you're poor. That's what it is. So it's just that the poverty level or line, has, certain margins, right? But you're still poor. That's what it is. Okay, so who is not really poor? Now, those who we thought were the middle class are poor. Those who thought we are poor are poor, or the poorest of the poor. Those who we thought were the poorest of the poor are wretched. And there is no place every time that interventions are put in place that, is targeted to the wretched people. Well, we have wretched people in Nigeria, don't we? So
very interesting. You have said something very fantastic that I really agree with. But talk about the rich people, the gap between the rich and the poor, the in between them, we have the average people that, in my own understanding, these 100 naira charges that we're talking about, they will not even indulge in it. You know why? Because they are very ready for the cashless policy. But it is the people who are below that level that will be more interested in the cash issue. That will be, like that caller said, he will travel to Lamaboro and State. He wanted to withdraw money, and the POS is charging him. But what about if there's a bank branch that have money in their ATM? He would have withdrawn his money without spending so much money. But the cost of that bank maintaining that money, that ATM, is what his bank is trying to correct, and what the CBN also is trying to correct for the bank, for that bank, for the bank in Nigeria. But the question we should be pushing out right now is that, in as much as they want to be charging this 100 naira that they were charging some years back, they should ensure that money are in the bank, are in the ATM, because those days when they were charging this particular money, we see many money in the ATM. If you check 4-6 years ago, before the Naira exchange, Naira redesign policy came up, we were seeing money in the ATM. No bank complained they don't have money in their ATM. But because of the current economic challenges, many of them now stop putting money in their ATM machine, and that's why they're now suffering. But the issue is that we must encourage them to put enough enforcement and oversight that banks put money in the ATM. But the other angle that I don't want us to abuse this particular discussion is this, that as it stands today, banking with putting money in any bank account is voluntary. Nobody forces anybody to put money in an account. Right. But it is necessary in the sense that because of security purpose, that's why people put their money in their account. But the rural area that we normally pinpoint to, again, most of them don't have bank accounts, except for recent development of financial inclusion through the fintech that's bringing them on board. But those ones, they already know the channels will be collecting their money because the POS are there, and the POS will be charging them with 50 naira from every 10,000 naira federal government is charging them, plus the POS person charge and other things that we want to put. So that one is already there. But what we are trying to point out is that the banks, we must ensure, and the advocacy is that in as much as this 100 naira will be charged on every 20,000 naira from bank outside your own account bank, then they must ensure that they put money in those ATMs so that we can have evidence that we are collecting our money.
Okay, there's also the aspect of regulatory framework. Banks, the CBN has to also ensure about regulation so that we are not also shortchanged or exploited, because we've seen many cases where Nigerians have been exploited, different types of levies collected, even the ones that have not been, statutorily approved, we've been deducted like that. And that's the thing. That's the thing. And the Nigerians be like, so who do we run to if there's no regulatory framework, in this processes? But let's go hear from a family member now via the WhatsApp who says, all protocols are duly observed now, saying, so sir, when I checked how much is being taken from my account, over 10,000 naira transfers, 15 naira deduction is over 3,000 naira a day. Now, this ridiculous extortionist capitalist mode of stealing from the people, that's what he calls it. Now, he says the CBN has never in any way supported small-scale businesses, but all they're interested in is taking money from people's hard-earned monies. This policy has nothing to do with business improvement, and at the end, no one can be able to give an accurate estimation of how much he or she has realized, at the end of the day. Again, what are they going to do with these monies that's been deducted from all manners of frivolous transactions and bank policies? Now, Abbas is reporting from Dutse right there. You want to join the discourse to 0907 353 0044 is the number, 0907 353 0044.